What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Backpage Gaming video. I'm Sam.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Robbie.
Today we're going to be looking at Summer Heat Pogba. It's another card that I think a lot of people have been wanting throughout the year, so let's get into it.
So Sam and I are the ones that have actually used him. Sam tried him for a few games in Champs. Admittedly, it was pretty bad gameplay, and then I used him in the rest of the weekend league, and I did replace Emir Kante with him, so he had some really big shoes to fill. And let's get into it.
So, having not used him myself as well, I'll be asking questions for the good of myself, as well as our loyal viewers. So I suppose the first thing to ask is, what did you like most about him? What didn't you like about him? What were your first impressions?
So, obviously the bad gameplay had some effect on what I thought of him, but big standout things for me were his defending, like his ability to nick the ball off people and keep the ball. Especially around the edge of your own box, was brilliant. And then going forward, his passing and his dribbling were brilliant.
Yeah, I'd agree with Sam there, is that he does really feel like a CDM that can get you up the pitch higher. And I think it's one of the most important things with the meta at the minute. There's all these cards that have got crazy stats. I think it's really important now that you've got CDMs that can both win the ball and then get you higher up the pitch. And, create to some extent, if you need them to score a goal, you need to know that they'll be reliable or, at least not like a bumbling buffoon up in the final third.
Did you use him as your stay back CDM?
I did, yes. So, he was, he was really good in that regard. I think you could play him as your attacking CDM, definitely.
Yeah.
Even Cam to some extent, because he did feel really nice on the ball. He felt like Pogba always feels he's really strong, but then not stiff in a weird type of way. I don't really know how to explain it. How did you think his dribbling was, Sam?
No, I completely agree. It's like you can tell he's got a big frame, but he's by no means clunky. And in some ways that helps, especially with things like ball rolls, because it means that ball actually rolls quite far, so that people miss the tackle. But I agree with what Jack said. Like I played 4-4-2 this weekend with it, and I had him as the stay back because obviously you've got De Bruyne next to him. But I think if I was somebody with a lot less money, I would want to be trying him in that attacking role with somebody else holding.
So I suppose one thing that we're sticklers for on this channel is a nice pace split, and then particularly good agility and balance, and that's one thing that I think he's a bit lacking of. He's got low acceleration at 79 and then low balance at 73. Would you say it affects him, or is it negligible?
I'd say if you're talking about an endgame CDM, it does affect him. It is noticeable, the lack of acceleration, even though we played him with a shadow on. It's mainly because we've got so used to, I've been so used to using Renato Sanchez and players like that and Kante that are just absolutely rapid. They're smaller as well, so they do cover the ground really quickly.
Yeah.
It does feel like a step down in that regard, but he makes up for it in the fact that he really feels like a creative CDM. So I think, like Sam says, if I didn't have so much money, I'd definitely use him as the attacking CDM because I think he'd thrive a bit more there because you don't really need the acceleration as much.
Yeah.
You can get away with it. But with your defending one, I think it's important to be able to cover the ground quickly because if you do get counted on and your other CDM's attacking, that you need to be secure there.
Yeah. I think that's in the bad gameplay. That's probably where I found him to have his major flaw was with the acceleration. Do you know the moment when your attack breaks down and they're straight at your defense and you've only got the one player in that big space? He didn't cover the ground super fast straight away. It was a lot of he played catch up, if that makes sense.
Building up,
yeah. And then I found it really odd though because he felt like that off the ball, but as soon as you got the ball at his feet, he'd run away from anybody.
Yeah.
So it was a strange thing. I don't know whether that's a work rate thing or just one of those things. But
I tell you what though, when he does get going, he is like an absolute freight train. There's no stopping him. So I think that if there's any redeeming factor to having the bad pace split, it would be that, I suppose. That when he does, if he is chasing someone down, he will usually catch them.
Would you say his sort of low-ish defensive stats let him down a little bit, or would you say his frame and his stature?
I was saying to Sam yesterday when we were using him that he really reminds me of like a juiced up Baby Blanc. in the way that his stats aren't that great, but because of his frame and his body type and everything, that it doesn't matter. He just clatters through people anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. You could have like someone with 99 defending who's small, but then Pogba with 81 who's a massive unit.
Huge.
Yeah. So I suppose the final question to ask is he worth doing, particularly for people like me that may already have good untradeable CDMs already in the club? Would you say is a worthy addition, or would you just miss it? I don't know. I suppose it is a good price for a Paul Pogba card, but
yeah, I mean, price-wise, he's very good. It completely depends on your team and who you've got, obviously, always. But if you're considering like you haven't got a CDM, and you're looking for one, he's without a doubt worth doing. Like, I think it's one of them cards that it's like there's nothing wrong with him. He does everything really well.
Yeah.
It's just that there's other cards in the game that I would rather have.
Yeah.
Like it, but he is very good. Like if you're a Manchester United fan, a Paul Pogba fan, like your French teams, get him in your team. Like it's.
Yeah.
I'd say if he fits into your team now, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I think he is really worth doing. You can see on the end card we've given him an 8.5, which I think is fair. But the main thing I'd say that lets him down is just the acceleration. I don't think the balance or agility or anything, I don't think that really matters, to be honest, on a stay-back CDM, but the acceleration does.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason for me that I've given him an 8.5. Value for coins is 10 because he's 250k. You compare that, when his birthday came out, his FUT birthday card,
like
he was
2 mil or whatever it was.
2 mil, so it's kind of a no-brainer, especially the amount of fodder that we've been getting from rewards and all the SBCs easily. And everything. Best chem style is Shadow. Obviously, you do want to get that acceleration up. You can maybe go for an engine if he's maybe playing the attacking CDM role, maybe, but I'd probably still stick with a Shadow, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I suppose it depends where you're using him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends where you're using him and what formation as well. Maybe 4-4-2, you could get away with it a bit more. Best links, we've got Usmane. Obviously, we really enjoyed him. As if you haven't seen the review, go and check it out. Wan-Bissaka, great fullback. And then the new Daniel James. So we haven't actually done him yet or got him. But the times that I've come up against him, he's been an absolute jet. So it's never a bad card to recommend. And then, like we say, best position, CDM probably. Just because he hasn't got the acceleration to play cam, really.
Yeah,
I did play against him. There was somebody who was using him in cam. He was still a handful just because he's so physical, really.
You'd want someone a bit nimble, I think, for this year's gameplay.
Yeah, a bit faster. But altogether, I'd say definitely worth doing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the video this week, guys. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you liked it. Share it with your friends and check us out on Instagram at Backpage Gaming. And see you later.
Bye.
See you later, guys.